Grateful you could join us. I am Pius Kojo-Baka. And look now at our stories. Executive Secretary of the American Chamber of Commerce, Simon Raji, is urging Ghanaian and African diplomats in the United States to prepare clear strategies aimed at attracting investments into their countries no matter the outcome of the U.S. elections. Speaking earlier on the marketplace, he added that Africa has resources which are largely exported to the U.S., hence the need for continuous business relations post the elections.
I think what is important is that our diplomats in Washington, D.C., from the African continent, should be prepared to have a clear strategy to engage whoever is elected as U.S. president to put the Africa case for investment on the table. We all know the statistics. Africa is very important. Very soon, 1 out of every 4 persons on earth will be an African. And so it's important for the U.S. And what we also have is that we have abundance of critical minerals, and America is in pursuit of great technology. So there'll be a lot of engagement. But it all comes down to what we all want. And I think it's important that we all begin to speak to say, look, we've been friends with America, we continue to be friends with America. We want the U.S. government to give a very strong signal that they are open to doing business on the continent, and then their businesses will follow, and we'll have a great engagement. The future of the world is here, and so I believe that no U.S. government will be able to ignore the continent as a whole.
All right. Simon Raji, thank you so much. Executive Secretary, the American Chamber of
Now, onto some other stories. The country's donor partners are putting pressure on government to strictly enforce the sharing of revenue collected by the ECG to other sector players. George Yafe has more on concerns to pick up from these development partners in Washington, D.C., USA.
2022, the cash waterfall mechanism was part of the energy sector recovery program. It was meant to help deal with the lack of transparency when it comes to revenue collected by the Electricity Company of Ghana and how it's distributed to other players in the sector. This was to ensure that it helps with the full cost recovery of the sector. However, for some of these donor partners, they're even considering how they can tie fresh disbursement to Ghana over its full implementation. Some of these donors told Joy Business in Washington, D.C., USA that they believe that this might be one of the surest ways to deal with the challenges facing the energy sector, especially when it comes to funding. These donors therefore want a lot more to be done by government to ensure that every player complies with the proposed reforms when it comes to the cash waterfall mechanism and other restructuring programs in the energy sector.
All right, so let's explore these concerns further. Joining us via Zoom is Dr. Yusuf Suleiman, an energy strategist. Thanks so much, sir, for agreeing to speak to us on Business Live. And I want to pick your thoughts on the concerns expressed by Ghana's donors on the cash for water mechanism.
Thank you very much, and good evening to you, Pius, and to your cherished listeners and viewers in Ghana and across the globe. I think this is not too much to ask from us as a nation with respect to the energy sector. So if you look at the power sector in particular, we have these 3 major chains that are intricately linked, that if we have inefficiencies inherent in one chain, the cascading impact on the other chains going to be dire. We have the distribution arm of it, we have the generation arm of it, and the transmission arm of it. And if you look at a long-time World Bank, recommendations some time past, if you notice, they recommended that we diversify, especially the distribution and then the generation. We follow suit with the generation, which I think we can see the positive results of it. When we diversify our generation portfolio, we had a lot of that gave birth to what we call the IPPs, the independent power producers, and that's what we have now. Independent power producers that become the force to reckon with. They've been able to contribute substantial amount of the energy needs of the nation. And because we were able to diversify that particular arm of the power portfolio, that gave a lot of efficiency. So actually, we're supposed to follow suit with respect to the distribution. As to why we couldn't do that, I know it's a difficult thing because government want to have full control over distribution. But if you want to have full control and then that chain is dragging you down, you need to sit up. And so the cash waterfall mechanism is the least to actually ask with respect to the distribution arm of it.
Why is it not working? That's a concern now. Why is it not working?
is the will, Pius, is the willpower, the political will. So that's why now they want to use that as a bargaining chip to whip us online. And actually to our best interest. Because see, if let's say an X amount of money is taken, and the money is such that if you take money for a purpose and then you don't use it for that purpose, it will find issues, especially in government coffers. So I think it's in our best interest to let the cash water flow mechanism work efficiently. And if it works, what will happen is that we all know the issues with the ECG with respect to revenue generation, so or mobilization. So if an X amount of revenue is mobilized, however little it is, if the players within the chain are not assured that this is the amount they are getting continuously, I think there's a cost to be worried. And the important thing is that it's about cash flow. It's not about meeting the requirement of the IPPs. That's not the case. It's just to guarantee that we will have an X amount of money coming in, especially if you collect this amount from ECG, this amount that is supposed to come to you will come to you. It's as easy as that, and we need to do that. And I think if we do that, it's going to help a nation a whole lot. And it can also help in solving DUMSO issues, actually, because some of these IPPs, because they know that some X amount of money has been collected from ECG, and they know they're required to take this amount, and it's not coming to them. That is why sometimes you see them agitating and potentially taking up power from our grid. That affects the poor consumer, Pius.
Meaning that the effectiveness of the mechanism is one of the surest ways of dealing with the challenges faced in the sector, I guess so, right?
Excellent. That's a fact. If we make it effective, it will guarantee consistent cash flow. And I mentioned that cash flow is very important. It's not about the quantum. The quantum is very important, but the consistency is also key. If they know that if somebody owes you and makes commitment to consistently stay within a target, let's say every month I'm giving you X amount of money, and it comes. And ECG, they're not doing too bad, actually, especially if they implement this cash water flow mechanism. Whatever they are collecting, and government actually don't interfere with this cash water flow mechanism that much. That money that is collected is not diverted to other areas. I think it's going to help a lot. And it will help government, actually. And look at even the donor partners now crying. If we don't stick to that, they're going to take us on. So I think the high time we stick to the cash water mechanism, the better for the energy sector.
And the good thing about this whole thing, again, is that government has promised that they will make it possible. And do you think that is achievable?
Very achievable. Very, very achievable. It's the easiest thing to do. The only thing is the willpower, like I mentioned. PRC, if you notice PRC came out to do the right thing. They took ECG on several occasions. But unfortunately, these two agencies are the same from the arms of government. So if the willpower is not there from the government, PRC may want to do the right thing by taking ECG on. But if other forces are working against PRC, way of working, to put all players or all agencies under its arm to whip them online, then it's just going to be difficult. So I will put it like a willpower. The government has to have the willpower to let it work, and it will help the government also at the end of the day if it works and works efficiently.
That's fine. Finally, before you go, Dr. Suleimana, now I want your quick thoughts on the country's power situation. As we speak now, there's been intermittent power outages in some parts of the country. Do you think the situation is going to escalate, or what needs to be done to, avert some of these disruptions?
Yeah, so the recent disruption, we understand, I always say that Ghana in our power sector, we are sitting on the cliff to the extent that if there's gas shortage, we have a problem. If an IPP threatens, we have a problem. If Ghana gas is down, we have a problem. We just need to speed up. So my understanding was Asogli. So the government has to move fast to get Asogli to return power back to normalize the situation. That's the only thing that is needed. If Asogli is not able to supply what they have taken out consistently onto the grid, we're going to have DUMSO continuously. But hoping that my understanding is that the ministry was in touch with the Asogli power plant to get them to agree to some deal of a sort so that there will be win-win situation. And if that pulls through, I think the erratic power supply may temporarily stop until we find a permanent solution to the generation gap that we have, Pius.
Energy advocate for the year 2024, Dr. Yusuf Suleimana, thanks so much for joining the discussion. We really appreciate your thoughts there. Away from energy-related stories, some cocoa farmers in Ghana are reportedly hoarding the beans in anticipation of higher prices. According to Reuters, the farmers are potentially squeezing supplies to a global cocoa market looking to recover from last season's disastrous harvest. There is more in this report.
Clear, a dozen farmers, buyers and officials from Cocoa Board confirmed the practice to Reuters, with some blaming it for a slowing of bean purchases. The sources all said that farmers were reacting to comments by Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia that the government would raise prices for farmers during a political rally. Ghana lost more than a third of its 2023-2024 cocoa output to smuggling, according to Cocoa Board, adding to woes that brought production to a more than 2-decade low and helped send global cocoa prices to record highs. In a bid to boost farmer incomes and deter smuggling, government raised the fixed farm gate price by nearly 45% to 48,000 cedis, or just under $3,000 per metric ton for the 2024-2025 season, which opened in September.
You're still watching Business Live. We have more stories for you after this break. Hello, welcome back to Business Live. A senior lecturer at the KNUST, Dr. Camillus Wongna, has expressed concern about the ineffectiveness of policies rolled out by successive governments to transform agricultural production in the country. He observed manifestos of various political parties on agriculture often promise grand initiatives to raise high hopes, but eventually the reality falls short. There is more in this report.
Dr. Wangna is recommending a permanent framework or policies for the sector which cannot be changed by any political party when voted into power. He further emphasized that a legislation must be constituted to prevent political parties from changing policies streamlined for the sector. He believes a long-term agricultural development framework is important in the country.
If we are able to bring all these people together and then we are able to pick the bits and pieces from each of them, at the end of the day, we should be able to get something that is going to help this country. And such a policy should be such that at the end of the day, no party comes and then is able to change it. Until we are able to do this for this country, then we should forget it. We will continue to be going around the same thing as we keep experiencing every day. And that is why we think that a long-term agricultural development framework is very, very important.
He made the call during a panel discussion at this year's Graphic National Development Series in Kumasi, aimed at discussing development issues in the agric sector. The agricultural expert also noted that it would take a collective effort to build the agricultural space through stakeholder dialogues, including politicians, farmers association and input dealers. Emmanuel J. Arthur is the corporate communications manager of Graphic.
What we seek to achieve is a sanitized debate about policies instead of emotions. We seek to achieve an outcome that Ghanaians would have had the opportunity to listen to the agric policies, proposed policies of these political parties, and then they can make informed choices because they themselves are now educated about the policies.
Josephine Sego's report for Joy News.
In response to the rising unemployment among Ghana's population, Generation, a global non-profit network, has earmarked the GROW project to provide young people with skills and job opportunities. In an interview with Joy Business, Country Programs Manager Mr. Lomuti emphasized Generation's commitment to enhancing youth economic well-being, beginning with dignified employment opportunities for over 700 young Ghanaians this year. There is more in this report.
The Ghana Remote Online Work Program, developed by Generation Ghana in partnership with the MasterCard Foundation, aims to equip the young Ghanaians with essential skills for securing remote and online work. Speaking at the 2024 Ghana Remote and Online Work Stakeholder Gathering in Accra, Country Programs Director of Generation Ghana, Dr. Vandik Lomote, highlighted the significant impact of the GROW program in creating sustainable, dignified jobs for young people in Ghana.
The guarantee is that when you come through our programs and you graduate within 90 days, we will support you to gain employment. And as it stands today, we've done that for 76% of the graduates that have gone through our program. We're not only concerned about the numbers we are churning out, we're also particularly concerned about durability. And when we talk about durability, it's not just a numbers game for us. The real life transformation that is happening. 40% of people that come into our program are unemployed and been unemployed for more than 6 months. And by the intervention of our program, 90 days post-graduation, they gain employment. We even have 52% who have dependents, at least one dependent on them before coming into our program. And we're able to carefully and intentionally support these people towards a pathway that is sustainable.
MasterCard Foundation's country director, Rika Rigamba, underscored the transformative potential of the program in shaping the future of work.
We're building resilient pathways by equipping young Africans with adaptable skills and an entrepreneurial mindset. This program is designed to withstand market fluctuations, adapt to technological changes, such as the advent of AI, and meet the evolving needs of industries across Ghana.
Patrick Morton, Regional CEO for South Asia, Middle East and Africa at Generation, revealed plans to expand across Ghana.
We're starting our programs in Accra and Kumasi, but next year we're looking to expand them across the country with programs in Tamale, Takoradi and Ho. And really the end goal is to be able to provide programs that participants can join from anywhere across the country.
Two alumni, Yvette and Nicholas, shared the excitement at securing employment through the program.
I completed in June, and by August, I already had a job. And my experience so far with Generation has been great. We have certain behavioral skills that they'll teach you that you don't only use it at work, but also in life as well.
Before starting this program, I was unemployed for close to 1 year. And after the program, they were the ones that went out to get a company, and all I did was to go for the interview, and after that I excelled, and I am now working with the company.
The 2024 stakeholder gathering provided a platform to review growth progress and foster connections among participants and partners.
President of the Stanford Seed Transformation Network Ghana, Carl Richards, is urging government to intensify investment in developing the needed infrastructure to advance the use of artificial intelligence in Ghana. Speaking in an interview with Joy Business, Mr. Richards emphasized the need for reliable and affordable internet for businesses and individuals. He spoke on the sidelines of the Stanford Seed Network Business Conference here in Accra.
Businesses are employing artificial intelligence in a variety of ways to improve efficiencies, save time, and decrease costs. The 2024 Stanford Seed Network Business Conference centered on the theme Smart Africa, Leapfrogging the Conventional and Transforming Businesses with AI. Speaking at the event, President of the Stanford Seed Transformative Network Ghana, Carl Richards, emphasized the critical role of AI in helping businesses take full advantage of the African continental free trade area.
I think it is the most important evolution that has happened in the business world today. Africa is well positioned because by the time you combine it with Africa continental free trade, I think businesses today in Ghana should be able to leapfrog conventional ways of doing things. In the past, you had to go through very long processes, or we didn't have certain tools available to us because they were expensive. But now with AI, those tools are very available. And a lot of our businesses are not aware that they are there. So this conference was more or less to highlight to the business community that these tools are there, the world is adopting it, and if our companies don't get on that bandwagon, we'll fall far behind.
Richards also called on the government to invest in essential infrastructure to support AI adoption across sectors.
There's a lot of things that you are self-learning, self-taught, that the infrastructure that we are talking about usually would be the infrastructure the government has to provide. That is access to good internet. And this should be all over the country, because everywhere in the world, that is what is driving business nowadays. You cannot work in isolation. Everybody's familiar with social media, digital marketing. These are things that in the past were beyond the pocket of most businesses. But
the conference gathered key stakeholders from the tech industry and government, fostering dialogue on the future of AI-driven business transformation in Africa.
Chief Executive of the Global Ovations Initiative, Gideon Raji, has pledged their commitment to empowering and supporting women in various fields such as entrepreneurship, technology and business to thrive. Speaking at the 2024 Women's Choice Awards Africa, she says, which of course is aimed at recognizing the contribution of women towards the development of the economy. Chief Executive of Global Ovations, Gideon Raji, emphasized the immense roles played by women in ensuring growth in all sectors of the economy.
The event will shine a spotlight on remarkable women whose stories exemplify the essence of seizing the moment, from grassroots activists who are transforming local communities to entrepreneurs, revolutionizing industries, and amazing talents who are trailblazers in the industry. Their journey reminds us that progress is not always a distant goal, but something we can achieve in the here and now. The Global Ovations Initiative, which we proudly support, is dedicated to empowering women through this celebration of excellence. Our goal is to exemplify and amplify voices, recognizing achievements, and inspire future generations. By sharing the stories of these exceptional women, we hope to ignite a collective passion for action and inspire others to embrace their potential. This year, we invite you to engage with us in exploring what the power of now means for each of us. How can we support one another in our immediate endeavors? What can we do today to create a better tomorrow? These questions will guide our discussions and celebration throughout the year.
Fan Milk Ghana is making a bold move to revitalize its brand with the launch of Project Sankofa, a strategic initiative aimed at rekindling excitement for its products and driving long-term growth. In an interview with Joy Business, Sales Director of Fan Milk emphasized the importance of investing in and empowering local vendors through the Right to Dream initiative. There is more in the following report.
Fan Milk Ghana's Project Sankofa is part of a larger strategy to reignite enthusiasm around their products and secure long-term growth. In an interview with Joy Business, Sales Director for Fan Milk Ghana, Ayodeji Adewale, highlighted the importance of investing and supporting vendors through the Right to Dream initiative.
The biggest challenge when it comes to going into business, is the cost of capital. And we've done this for these 15 beneficiaries this year. We're setting up, as you can see, with the full cost, borne by Fan Milk, so that we take that pressure of the cost of capital, off them. We call our vendors the Chief Enjoyment Officer. And our Chief Enjoyment Officers, these are people who make life easy, providing access, to good nutrition that Fan Milk provides, for everybody on the street on a daily basis. It is only fair that whatever they've made happen for others, we also need to make happen for them to be able to achieve, their dreams. You see, the vendor we're setting up as an agent today has worked with Fan Milk, for 12 years. And this is a reward of, very good work, and putting smiles on the faces of others.
Adewale encouraged the agents to stay diligent and committed to their operations.
This is not the time for any of these vendors who are being set up as agents today to think that they have arrived. This is, as a matter of fact, time for them to put more time into their business, be a lot more dedicated, be a lot more diligent, and map out for themselves, along with the business advisors we're giving for them, what is the 5-year plan, what is the 10-year plan. This is the time that real work begins. Because if you look within our network of agents that we have today, we have agents who've traded with Fan Milk over the past 40 years.
The Right to Dream project by Fan Milk provides agents with opportunities to support their families, ensure their child's education, and improve their overall quality of life.
Thanks so much for being part of Business Life for today. I am Pius Kojobaka. We have more stories for you when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Let's read what's there. Energy sector not advancing enough. That's according to ASEP. Also on that portal, CD records year-to-date loss of nearly 29%. $1 going for 17 cedis, 10 pesos. More stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. See you at 8 p.m. with Prime Business.